When the city was handed to the Chinese back in 1997, the idea was that Hong Kong would be this one country, two systems, and it was supposed to last for half a century. The agreement expires in the year 2047. As Beijing announced days ago plans to enforce sweeping new security laws similar to the draconian measures used on the mainland, many here feared it would be the end of Hong Kong as we know it.
Beijing has essentially intervened directly and said, we're not going to wait. We're going to pass this law here in Beijing, which will apply to you, Hong Kong. Effectively, this is saying Hong Kong is no longer under a one country, two systems approach. It is now fully integrated into China, despite the fact that we are not yet at 2047.
Many Hong Kong residents fearful at the thought of becoming another Chinese city and losing personal freedoms.
I think it's very ridiculous. They promised one country, two systems, but the content of the security law is basically implementing one country, one system.
Cheng says for China, the idea of one country, two systems has always really meant one country over two systems.
So what this is going to mean is that freedom of the press, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of protest, freedom of speech, all of these are going to be very much in jeopardy. It also effectively nullifies the independence of the Hong Kong judicial system.
China insists the new crackdown is needed to prevent secessionist and subversive activity, as well as foreign interference and terrorism. Ahead of more pro-democracy protests this week, China's top military commander in Hong Kong says his 10,000-strong army is ready to do whatever it takes.
The garrison troops have the determination, confidence, and capabilities to defend national sovereignty, security, and development interests and safeguard long-term prosperity and stability in Hong Kong.
In Washington, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle want to sanction any Chinese official involved in enforcing the new laws in Hong Kong. The bill would also penalize banks and businesses that help enforce the law. The White House is warning China against enacting the laws.
If that happens, there will be sanctions that will be imposed on Hong Kong and China. It's hard to see how Hong Kong could remain the Asian financial center that it's become if China takes over.
And now experts worry that if China moves to take over Hong Kong, Taiwan could be next on Beijing's list.
The reality is that China cracking down on Hong Kong means that Taiwan has even less reason to believe Chinese promises of autonomy and non-interference should the two reunify.
George Thomas, CBN News.